All right, everybody. He is a podcaster, an artist, a VP, Demetrius Whodini-Blak Reynolds. What's up, man?
What's up? What's up, man? Happy to be here. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for doing this.
Absolutely, man. I really appreciate the opportunity. It's just a blessing, bro.
Yeah, I had your brother on a while back, and he was like, "Oh, my brother's VP of Bizzy Bone and everything like that." I'm like, and then all of a sudden, like literally right after he told me what you did or whatever, you hit me up and wanted to be on the show. So
Yeah,
let's go, man. This is awesome.
yeah, man, for sure.
So talk about your journey. I know you've been in the game since like what, like 2000. I read like 2001. Is that true?
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
Right out of high school, I got a record deal.
Wow.
Kind of untraditional record deal, but it was still a record deal. Me and this homie and started in middle school. And then from there, we were developing our styles and our personas. So moving into high school, it just got deeper and deeper because we were both in the band. He played percussion, and I played the trumpet. So
Okay.
we began to become musically inclined. Recorder, a mini tape recorder. I think it
Mm-hmm.
was my dad's or something like that. And we would use that to record or rehearse our songs. So we had like hours of just songs,
Mm-hmm.
like perfection, perfection. Yeah. To the point to where we were just reciting our verses on point. We didn't even have to, look at lyrics or anything like that. It was just second nature. Writing every day, recording these little tapes every day. And then we were like, how can we take it further?
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, we had a friend who had a father who was a mason and had a record label. And we watched them, do all sorts of cool things. And we were like, hey, man, talk to your dad, and he did. And, they gave him the tape. And it's like, whoa, you guys are talented. And they gave us a deal.
Mm-hmm.
But they wanted us to perform beatboxing on a professional recording. Even though you own 100% of your music,
Oh yeah, I remember this.
you join a company and they have all the money, they have all the power.
Mm-hmm.
If they're putting up money for production, yeah, they were paying for high quality studio time. We cut our first demo with one of the biggest DJ in Jackson, Mississippi, from 99 Jams. Shout out to DJ Finesse. We cut those records in his home using reels, like
Not Instagram reels, the
the
old
old
reels.
reels that look like the movie reels or the data. They were data tapes. Yeah, data tapes,
Mm.
not the reels. Data tapes. I
Okay.
misspoke.
No,
Yeah,
it's cool, man.
I don't even know
That's
where those things are at, and if I find them, I'm gonna bury them
they're in
under
some
the ground.
museum somewhere, man.
No, no, no. You'll never hear those songs. They were terrible. Um,
um yeah, so let's talk about fast forward to, was it No Days Off?
yeah,
That
okay.
was, yeah, let's talk about that. So I listened to one of the songs on there, and it reminded me, just the title reminded me of what I've been doing. I do like 9 to 5s, and like I just got a new job. I'm starting soon, hopefully. And it just,
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. And it's a office job, but it pays the bills. I'm excited.
Mhm.
So anyways, the title, you could probably guess what song. I'll let you take a guess. It's 9 to 5. It has some sort of
It
time,
has to be. This is
and
everyone's favorite, I think. It's like a story.
it
Uh,
has a number in it. You should know, obviously. 6
uh,
a.m.
oh, that one, really?
Yeah, I like that song.
Okay.
I also like what was the other, Built for Greatness? Obviously, those were the two that I listened to, and I also listened to Survival Mode. Is that the one you were originally thinking of?
No, no, this one's a more aggressive approach to the 9 to 5 job.
Okay,
Um,
so talk about that one. We can get to those later. Talk
I-
about, what song are you talking about?
I'm trying to think of the name, man. This is like
It's been a minute, right?
2005.
When I graduated high school. So, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, this is 2005. This is like me going through a bad marriage. This is me working a 9 to 5 job and then retail management actually. And
Okay.
then coming home trying to be an artist on the weekend and at night and raising a son and a daughter. So this is this point of my life, a lot of frustrations going on here. So the track I'm talking about is called oh, I don't know, but
We can always get back to it, you
yeah, we can get
know.
back to the title. But it's talking about me waking up to go rob a bank because I just got fired from a job. And then since I'm contemplating to go rob a bank, I go outside and my car's been stolen. So now
This
I
is
can't.
is this based on a true story are we talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I exaggerated a little bit because I never robbed a
That's why
bank.
I said based. I would assume
Yeah.
it's based. I
But
hope.
things
I mean, I
were,
don't know. To you, to each their
yeah,
own. You know,
no man,
I've seen
things were
bank robber
so bad.
movies. The Town is one I've seen. You know.
Yeah, man.
Um. But
Things were
anyways,
so
sorry. Go
bad
ahead.
that it caused me to contemplate stealing, robbing a bank in a dream type of thing, I'm not yeah, I'm not equipped to rob any kind of bank. So anyhow, um we're going through these situations and I'm like, man, you know, this job is frustrating. I just need a Red Bull and I'll burst through this wall, kick my bosses and and Ninja Turtles come save the day. I don't know, man. It's a real funny story, but to me it was real. I just over exaggerated for
Of course,
you know,
it's like
comical.
It's like movies or anything else. You know, you
Yeah,
take the truth, but you turn it up to 100.
that's it, man. Turning lemonades and lemons into lemonade, right?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly, exactly.
And Drake happened. So I was friends with Drake on MySpace, 2005. Now, me and Drake have I won't say a relationship, but uh, we probably definitely knew of each other. Like I said, we were friends on MySpace, and I've been following him for a long time. I used to watch Degrassi, wheelchair, uh, Jimmy, yeah, wheelchair Jimmy. so, so I began to put like my demos on MySpace, and what I believe is that Drake stole. Well, that's a harsh word. Drake was inspired by the sound that I was putting out because it was a mix of rapping with harmony, like Bone does in harmony, but a little more
I
New
got you.
York, a little more slower.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. And then he
The
dropped,
vibes were right.
yeah, the vibes were right. And then out of the blue, man, he drops this tape and he drops it in my Facebook messenger account. I have the proof. It's not the Thank Me Later mixtape. It's the one before that. He
Okay.
didn't have any facial hair and had like a little partial line with some background, looked like the Windows 98 background, with the fall leaves, the road. He had a background like that. Anyhow, and since he did that, I felt like I should just hold off on putting my album out because everyone was going crazy for this Drake sound, which I believe that I inspired to this day, and I'm gonna hold on to that. So 2007, I actually put out the album. That's when the album came out, thanks to
Okay.
Drake.
Yeah. So built for greatness, man. I mean, that's just self-explanatory, man.
Yeah,
So everybody knows the word, or obviously everyone knows receipts, transactions every day, but receipts as in like the connotation of if someone talks shit, I'll remember that. Like,
yeah.
is that what that was? Just basically, if I'll remember shit if you f with me,
Not so much.
kinda.
No, man.
What kind
I
of receipts are
believe
we talking about here?
so. I have the album that he dropped in my inbox and asked me to support it. Uh, when I played the project, I was like, "What? This sounds like me. This sounds like what was on my MySpace." Um, but also at the time, and still to this day, that whatever anyone's inspired or want to borrow or take, I think I'm just. This is not to be like uh egotistic statement. It's just I just
Hmm.
think that I could be so creative that I wouldn't care if someone stole or borrowed or were inspired by something that I did, because I'm the same way. I'm an artist who were inspired by other artists before me. Busy being one of them.
Hmm. Yeah, I've told this story before on the podcast, but I remember being at a party. This had to have been like 2008,
Hmm.
I think, something like that. And I don't know who it was. I'm from Florida. I live in
Nice.
um near Orlando is where I grew up, like near Cocoa Beach, Daytona Beach,
Right.
that whole area out there. And I was at a party and then they were talking about how someone was paying like I don't know if it was six figures, but it was a lot for a beat. And then like
Whoa.
someone made a joke about, you gotta have at least five to get heard. Is that a little high? Well, I mean, this was back in 2008. Five figures to get
Mm,
started. Was he
yeah.
bullshitting or was he being for real?
No.
You think he was being
No.
for real?
To break an artist. Yeah, yeah. To break an artist is about 150K to quarter mil
Oh,
to
so
break an
five, so
artist.
five figures. That was probably legit back then if it was high, right? No,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
six. I don't know, but I was like, damn, all right, and I kept sipping my drink. I'm like, I don't want nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I
That's a
mean,
lot
back
of money,
then,
man.
50,000, 75,000 could, do a lot. Most of it going into marketing and radio.
But yeah, how was your? Because obviously I'm from the South, so home of 50, Wayne,
Mm.
list goes on. What's your thoughts on 50 Cent? He was my guy. You got any thoughts
Okay.
on him?
Yeah, yeah, man. I like 50 Cent. He's one of my top uh persons who I call influential when it
Hmm.
comes to music or
Curtis
business.
Jackson, yeah.
Curtis Jackson, man. I have his book Pieces to Wait, The 50th Law. Um, I don't necessarily watch the TV shows, but those books, yeah, I've read those, and interviews. I study those a lot. He's
He
a
was one
smart
of
guy.
the OGs, man, like 2000s OGs,
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I pulled a move from 50 Cent. It's a wild story behind this, man. I got kidnapped behind this. But 50 Cent was doing the whole beef thing. That was the thing. Everybody was doing beef records. If you want to get on, you got to follow the 50 Cent blueprint. But what we didn't know, me and my homie, is that you got to back it up when they show up. So we're thinking like, okay, this is just gonna be something on wax. We actually did something crazy, went to this barbershop where he worked at. We recorded the song first, and then we came up to this barbershop where he worked at and was like, dude, check this song out. And it was a diss record to him. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna play it for everybody. He was like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And so he played the track in front of everybody, man. And we're going in on this cat. Just man, it's man, we're dropping nukes on them. Some sensitive personal information, just letting them have it. And everyone in the barbershop is like, and we're like, so what do
Stop
we
in,
do at this point?
stop in, yeah, stop in mid cut.
Yeah, yeah. It was like, what do we do at this point? Do we stand on this business, as they say nowadays,
Yeah,
or do we run out of here?
yeah,
So
like
we look at
protect.
each other.
It's kind of like protecting the territory, or you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we looked at each other and we nodded. So when we nodded, it was like, okay, if it's a fight, we're fighting. We're not gonna run. We just diss someone. How does that look? We run, then he automatically wins. So he doesn't say anything. He just brooding. He's like,
Mm.
oh, okay, I see what's going on. Okay, okay. And we was like, all right, man, sayonara, sucker. Yeah, enjoy the record, and we leave. Man, we're just chilling, doing what kids do. We're like uh in our early 20s. So we're like, wow. Um I really don't want to get too deep into it,
Oh
man.
no, no,
That
no.
may be a story for another day because how exciting it
No, no.
was.
I was
But
just I was just telling you, like, he was my
to
guy, and then that's a
yeah,
great story, man.
to get to the point is that a lot of things happened from that record. People were calling my phone, just playing like Beethoven. It's like, what is this about? And then you're hanging up, or they'll call and like, yeah, I'm ordering 100 pizzas. Yeah, I'll see you soon, bud, with these hot pizzas. Like, oh, what's this about? And so we're
That's
like, all
funny.
right. Yeah, you were like, okay. So they're playing mind games, let's really, let's really make our name, state our claim, puff up our chest. So we go to his studio. We're coming with like 6 or 7 guys. We're
Who's
one
we?
car. So we go to a neighborhood
Hey,
that
yeah,
we
but who is we? Like you and a bunch of
okay.
people? Like
Yeah, me and a bunch of people. Yeah. So me and my homie Snow, he's a white guy. Was my best friend at the time. And then this neighborhood that we hung out in, we had a little clique, posse, whatever you want to call, crew. We're like, hey guys, we're about to go smash. Come on, jump in. So everyone hops in my Pontiac. It's like 7 of us in the car. That's a bad idea, if you're from Jackson, like we are, because you're gonna get pulled over by cops. But amazingly, we went through town and no one saw us. So we arrive at this studio and it's locked. The dude's not there. Like we had baseball bats, chains, it
oh,
was
you
like
were
Outsiders movie. Yeah, we were coming to get down. We're tired of the mind games.
you're
You
coming
want to
with
call and hang up.
with the stuff, man. Just going
Yeah, we're
gonna
coming with the stuff. And he wasn't there. So we were like, okay, so how are we gonna make our mark? And I was like, yo, we're not gonna damage the studio because then that's another story for us. We're not criminals. So instead, we just littered our flyers all over the parking lot and pasted our flyers all over his door.
what?
Like, yeah, to let them know that we've been here looking for you, cut
Yeah,
the mind games.
yeah.
All right, fast forward. Um, Things happened and it got really weird with a bunch of cars coming around to my dad's house, to where my
Mm-hmm.
family stayed. And I was like, okay, dad, I think I was still living there. Yeah, I was. Me and Snow was living there, the white guy. Um, I
Yeah,
convinced my parents to let him stay there. They were good Christian. They are good Christian parents, so they're not going to turn down anyone who needs help. And
of course.
Snow needed help at the time, so we're bunking there. And I was like, "Yo, we gotta leave." Telling my family, "Yo, we have to leave. Things are getting crazy, and I don't want anything to happen to you guys." And we get a phone call that said, "Yeah, you better be glad your dad's a preacher, because we'll bum your house." And it was like, "All right, all right, all right. You threatened my family, so
He's talking that shit, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's time to meet." Okay, so we we uh we get a phone call about a meeting because, like I said, it was getting weird. I was making phone calls too because if there's a problem, then I feel like I got to deal with the problem, and anybody around this problem is going to get dealt with too, because if your friends are accustomed to this problem, you're going to seek revenge, and the only thing to do is just wipe them all out. That was my belief at the time. So this is the mind frame I'm going in, right? I'm getting real dangerous. I'm getting beyond of who Demetrius was. And Snow's right there's like, yeah, 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 yeah. He's right there. So now I got a homie too. So if if it's Geronimo at this point, if he jump, we
Mm-hmm.
all jump. Or if I jump,
Right,
we all
right.
jump. So we get a call.
I think most people understands that mindset.
Yeah, yeah,
You
man.
know?
So we get this phone call and we're like, yeah, it's getting crazy. There's a bunch of death threats flying around. Uh, so let's have a sit down in a neutral place. Let's go to the mall and just talk and, handle business. So I'm like, okay, yeah, it's cool. So we're heading to the mall. Uh, and Snow's like, yeah, you know what? I have a bad feeling about this. Let's just go to Hattiesburg and just start a new life and just change our names. I was like, what? But on the way, I was considering that because I was like, you know what? I don't want to die over rap beef. Like, who does that? Those are
Yeah.
just words.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, the words got serious. So we arrive to the mall, we sit down, and all of a sudden, like, just these dudes with blank faces surround us. And they're like, yeah, yeah, we are a group of people. I won't say who the group of people are. It's like, we're a group of people and we can make you disappear without a trace and no one would care. Come with us. And so we got kidnapped because we didn't have a choice. And we're
Wow.
driving through Mississippi. I don't know if you heard stories about Mississippi.
I
How,
have not. I'm right now I live in Pensacola on the Alabama border, so it's not too far. But I've also, like I said, I've been raised in the South. So I think I'm getting the picture, but I have never been to that area, no, but
Yeah. So I'll paint the picture for you. You
okay,
know,
feel free.
North Florida, right? You're from
Yeah,
Florida.
yeah, Central Florida, but yeah, I'm familiar with North Florida. I'm a Jags fan. I go Jacksonville all the time.
All right. So there is a heavy racial tension in North Florida, right?
Yeah,
Certain parts.
sure.
Okay. So that's here in Mississippi.
Okay.
There are a lot of places that you can come up missing, or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, come up missing. So we are blindfolded and we're driving through, I don't know where we're going, man. We're like driving for 3 hours. And all of a sudden we're told to get out. And they take the blindfolds off, and we're in the middle of nowhere. And it's pitch black. It wasn't when we left the mall. It was like daylight. But when we got to this destination in the middle of nowhere, it was pitch black. And it's like, yeah, so what's all of this stuff you guys are talking? It's time to stand on it. We're about to just put it into this, put two in the head, no,
What?
two in the chest, one in the head. And they're like, say your prayers. Snow drops down to his knees and he's crying, praying. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna drop to my knees, but I will pray and I'll, face whatever comes. And they're like, yo, so you a soldier? I was like, nah, but what's the point? If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. I'm not gonna beg you or, let you brag about the moment, make it happen, Captain. And he's just standing there stunned, I guess. He's like, yo, you got a death wish? I was like, yo, bro, I just told you, man, you're wasting time. Either you're gonna do it or you're not gonna do it. The field's too run for me to run away, but maybe I zigzag. And I'm telling him my plans. And he's like, what's wrong with this kid? And he's like, yo, look, get up, get up, get up, Snow. This is like an initiation. We just wanted to prove, we just wanted some guys in our crew who were soldiers. And you guys passed. Even though you dissed me in front of my people, that's very commendable. And I need people like you guys. And me and Snow's like, whoa, what? What? We were at the fight now. We thought we were about to die. And now we're not going to die. And it was a trick.
Yeah, you felt
But
like you were getting like punked a little bit, kind of.
no, not really, man. I just feel like, what was the point of that? You want to prove that you're some kingpin? Not really, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Fortunately, we allowed ourselves to, be walked into that. But at the end of the day, it wasn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully to God, it was just a joke and not, something that I wouldn't be here telling you about. But any lessons in that Busy told me after the fact, after I met him, is that when you beef with someone, you never say their name because you never know what comes to that, who
Mm-hmm.
they're connected to, who their cousins are, anything like that. You never know if you're messing up some kind of business or there's some kind of police operation going on.
Right.
So any kids out there, just don't do it just don't do it in songs. If you got a problem with somebody, talk it out. Um, you like I said, you never know who's connected to who, and at the end of the day, it's not worth it being taken into a field, and a
Mm-hmm.
gun placed on your head.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you telling your story, and I'm sure that'll people listen, and hopefully that gets a message across to people like, hey, man to man, woman, people, person
Yeah,
to
man.
person. That's what happens to me. Like when so you mind if I tell a story real quick?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
sure.
so I've told this before, but it's been a while. So this is episode 244. So when we
Mhm.
did, I had a co-host back in the day, and
Okay.
we got together for 100, and he apparently he was like I didn't say, I've never said this part, but I think he was like talking shit about me like behind my back to like
Mm.
his other friends because he's from New York too. And you probably, I don't know if you've been in New York, but you know that New Yorkers have a different mentality than I'll take that back. No, they do, but I'm trying to think that whole area. Trying to
Yeah,
think
they're
that the
they're
whole
rough.
area.
They're rough behind
Um,
the edges.
yeah, but that whole New England area is what I'm thinking. All the
Ah,
way
yeah,
up to Maine, that whole area are just like they have a different mentality.
yeah.
And, and was I sensitive? Sure, probably, but we got wasted, and I haven't spoke to him since because I got what off my mind, you know what I mean? I got off my chest what it was to his face.
Mm,
I felt like I was sticking up for himself. I actually left, and then they wanted me to come back and record because so basically what we were doing like a best of. So all I needed was his introductions for clips.
Yeah.
So I got into his we got into each other's face for a little bit, and I'm like, "Bro, I this is this I don't support, we're on different sides of the politics. I'm not gonna get into politics,
Mhm.
but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
we political differences, I mean, there was nothing off limits." So I understand about if you got something on your mind, say it to someone's face. I believe that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, all right, so let's get to Busy Bone. How did you guys meet?
So, man, Bizzy Bone, man. Busy has been my mentor, favorite artist since he went solo in '98. Even with the group,
Mhm.
it was always between either Busy or Crazy. Majority of Busy. Uh, and in '98, he had his solo debut. And there was an address on the back of the CD, and I wrote a letter, like some Stan on like Stan Eminem,
Yeah, of
like
course.
predicting the future, like, yo, one day we're going to work together, one day we're going to make a lot of money together, one day we're going to tour together, one day, doing all saying all this crazy stuff. But I didn't know I was speaking that kind of things into existence. And I was believing it so much, man, that I was, sometimes this is high school, '98.
Mhm.
I would cry about the situation. Like, oh, I want to be an artist so bad. Oh, I want to be on tour so bad, like pleading with God, just part heavens, part the clouds, and bless me, make it happen. Uh and the belief in myself, and I had a homie, Country Verse, who also believed in me and what we were doing, and that helped us get that record deal. That helped a lot of things, position itself to where, we were just wheezing through things. I mean, just
Mhm.
breezing through things, opportunities here, there. We're on the radio.
Right.
We're doing this. We're opening it up for the mayor. We're doing all kind of political things in Jackson community. We're winning trophies, awards, and Busy never returned my letter, of course. But at this time, I began to develop a career in retail, working myself up to a manager, and we had a chance to sell Russell Simmons clothes, baby fat and fat form. And my store did so well that he came down to visit, and I had a chance to meet him, and he was like, "So, what's your whole marketing plan?" I was writing the commercial jingles for the radio, for TV, for this store I was the manager of, plus managing two locations in two different cities. And he's like, "Yo, what's your whole plan? Because you're outselling any other store, and I've seen your market and it's mixed. You have white people, black people, Mexican people. The culture is very diverse in this area. What are you doing?" So I shared with him my plan and the things I were doing on radio and on TV. And he was like, "Man, I need you to come on a road with me." And I did as an intern. Came on the road with him, working with Fat Form. There's a picture of him somewhere on the internet, and from there, he began to teach me the music industry, like from the management standpoint, especially with business structure. And I took these things. After that ended, I came home, and Busy's artists were looking for like a manager, and that's how I got in the door, through managing. Unfortunately, though, I had to prove myself, so I was a part of the street team. And Busy did his interview. He was like, "Yeah, man, I got people jumping in the clique, and they're just in boot camp learning the game. I don't even know their names, but they're there. They're doing their thing." And that was me. I was one of those no name guys putting in work. My whole mentality was just be water,
Mhm.
be anything that you can be to get yourself in the door, and then you position yourself to work yourself up. And that's how I did any job, even with retail. I came in, well, no, I was blessed with that. I came in as a manager trainee. But any other job before that, I started on the ground floor, washing dishes, sweeping the floor, whatever it was, just to get in there, get in the building.
Mhm.
um and I use that same concept with Busy. Just let me in the building, let me do the rest, or let God do the rest.
Yeah.
So I was introduced to certain people like Rick Robinson, rest in peace. He was Busy's manager at the time, and also managing some business deals for Bone Thugs and Harmony. Plus, he was from Mississippi. And I only knew that because I used to study Bizzy's albums, read the thank
Mm-hmm.
yous. He had a session called the FUs. Uh, and I would read everything cover to cover. And I saw Rick Robinson's name. And Rick Robinson dropped an album and he shot it out in Mississippi. He said, My state. So I was like, oh, what? This
Mm-hmm.
is a homeboy? And I started doing my research and, diving deep into his career, how he started. He's from Brookhaven and he was big here when he dropped records. So I got a chance to meet with his family and talk to him, and he just took me under his arm as a mentor and started teaching me the other side of like booking shows,
Right.
taking care of like admin stuff, paying attention to details.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working my butt off. I get a few of the artists that are not really moving, but I'm moving them because I'm trying to prove myself. I had a
Mm-hmm.
pocket full of ambition, and plus I was the type that would work no days off until a result was achieved. And I was booking these guys all over like the USA, and they've never been out of their own city. And word started
Mm-hmm.
traveling back up to Busy. So one day he called one of my friends, and my friend got him on the phone, and Busy said, "Hey man, I just dropped an album and I need someone to do this, 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 and this. Are you the guy?" Now, Sean, at the time, I was not the guy. But because of my tenacity, I was the guy. I was like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I'm the guy. So he's like, all right. So I'm gonna send some instructions, and you take care of it. So he's not even. This is the only time I talked to him on the phone in like a year. A whole year goes by, and it's only through email. I have to
Yeah.
earn his phone number.
No, that
uh,
makes complete sense. That
yeah,
makes I understand. Earn your
and
stripes or such.
yeah, earn my stripes. And a lot of people who come into our organization nowadays don't even understand that you just can't talk to the boss. You just can't jump in his inbox and think you can jump over me. I'm not a I'm not a gatekeeper per se, but like I am the only way to get into this. And if you don't come talk to me and get vetted in, you're not getting in.
Because there's an inner circle of trust, I would assume, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, 13 years, man.
and you can't breach that. You got to go through it. I understand.
That this is 13 years of Busy talking to me. We're not
Did
talking about the years before that when he didn't even know my name.
But I'm saying,
Or
did he ever tell you stories from back in the day with
yeah,
Bone Thugs? He told you all those?
yeah, man. I have
Oh
a lot
man,
of
I bet.
stories that I
Well,
cannot repeat that
okay,
he's told me,
all
and
right.
I'm no storyteller. I can't tell anyone else's story unless they tell me to, but I could tell my story.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. If you could, yeah, just pick whatever story you want to tell.
yeah,
That's what this episode's about, man. Just you telling
yeah.
your story.
So, yeah, man, you got to put in the work to get there, and I put in the work to get here, but this is a whole year just emails back and forth, and
Mhm.
I was like, man, he was steadily telling me in these emails to prove yourself. What are you going to do to help my career? What can you do to help my career? What is your plan? What is
Mhm.
your goals for this organization? Asking me real questions that a kid like me have never thought about. No one has put me in those shoes to where I have the experience to answer those kind of questions. Russell Simmons, yeah, mentorship, but it wasn't hands on to where I'm learning, from failures. And
Mhm.
it's like, yeah. So prove yourself. And I say, well, man, what's something that you haven't did? And scratching my head, he's like, I haven't been to the East Coast in 10 years. I said, okay. The first show I booked for Busy was on the East Coast in Delaware. And
Yeah.
he was like, how did you do that? And I was like, what do you mean? You're Bizzy Bone. You can go anywhere.
I mean, most people have heard of Bone Thugs and Harmony, and most people know Busy Bone. What is it? Busy Bone, Lazy Bone, Crazy Bone, and Flesh and Bone?
And one more,
And what? Who?
Wishbone.
Wishbone. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I can just edit
Yeah.
that one in there. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
For
I'm
sure.
joking. I'm
For
joking. Shout
sure.
out to
No, you're
Wishbone.
good. You're good, man.
Um, no, but Bizzy Bone was the youngest, right? They were all
Yeah,
he was the
he was the youngest of the group. And after getting this show booked, we've did some other stuff, some incredible stuff. He came to Mississippi, my hometown, and
mm,
me and my brother Ben, we drove him. Well, we drove to a city to meet him, and then we drove him to Alabama. So we got a chance to really get up close and personal with him, share our stories, and hear his stories.
mm-hmm,
Man, that's probably one of the fondest memory I've had of Busy Bone is just riding in my it was my brother's car, I think. Yeah, my brother, we took my brother's
mm-hmm.
car, driving with Busy Bone to Alabama from Mississippi overnight.
Wow.
This is
Man,
24 hours too.
I bet you got just hours of entertainment, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. This is 24
Um,
hours, no sleep. And then we drop him off at the airport. And then we have to go home because we have to go to work in the morning. I'm a store manager and my brother's a
mhm.
store manager.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's like, yo, we have 1 hour to sleep. And so we're taking turns driving back
Mhm.
to back to Mississippi. Unfortunately, I couldn't maintain, man. I fell asleep, and my brother drove the whole way back, man, like pushing 110. We were there in like
Mhm.
30 minutes. A 3 hour trip. We were there like I don't know how we did it, but he did it, man.
Yeah.
That's Ben for you. But yeah, man, that's my meeting Busy Bone story.
Mhm. Were you big into Bone Thugs and Harmony before you met before you
Yeah,
met
yeah.
Busy?
Yeah, man. My cousins put me on to Bone Thugs and Harmony. I was strictly Christian music because I grew up in a Christian household. Secular music was banned, and if you
Mhm.
brought any paraphernalia or any CDs, any posters, it was going to get confiscated and burned. If
Paraphernalia.
my
Haven't heard that word in a while.
Yeah, man, I'm just dating myself,
I
but
know what you mean. I know what you mean. I'm just giving you a hard time.
but that's what happened
Um,
on a lot of
no,
occasions,
it's
man.
real
I
though.
had huge collections, and my dad would find it. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on, man. Maybe God was just leading him. Yo, Demetrius is listening to this music. You need to check it out, and he would find it every time. I buried it. I buried a backpack
Mhm.
in a backyard, and he found it.
Mhm.
I don't know how, but
Hey.
anyway, my cousins, I go down to my cousin's house and I see this weird tape and it has like old English writing, Bone Thugs and
Mhm.
Harmony. He's like, dude, check this out. This is the new thing.
Yeah.
It was like East 1990s where you find me slinging it, yeah, yo, daily. It's the first of the month. Wake up. And I was like,
Yeah.
yo, this is not
Crossroads is
like the
my
music
jam
I
too, man. They won a
yeah,
Grammy. It won a Grammy, no
it
joke.
did. And
1997.
it
And
beat the Beatles record.
yeah, and when they did I Tried with Akon underrated, man.
Mm-hmm.
But
So I'm listening to this music and I was like, yo, this is very different from what I listened to. And I get engulfed in gangsterism right then and there. You know,
hey man.
I go from like my shirt button all the way up to like wearing bandanas. Like I did
Yeah.
a complete 360. And I was talking to my mother the other day. I was like, Mom, how was I growing up? Was I a little loose in the head? And she was like, no, you were a good kid until like a certain point of time. You know, you kind of, were feeling yourself. I guess that's you, becoming of age. And I was like, I think that's the time when I discovered rap music.
Yeah, I had a rap I had a rap phase, so I wore the I'm not gonna say the type of shirts, but you know what I'm saying, the undershirt.
Oh man, did you wear
The
the ones with
the
the colors,
I know
like the
I
GD
wore a
ones?
black one or a white one. I
Okay,
had the chain, man. I thought I was like they
man,
called me
the A shirts.
people called me words that I can't talk about on the podcast type of words.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah,
you know what I mean?
man.
Because
Yeah,
I was
so
into that lifestyle. I was wearing the
yeah,
chains. I was like, you know, I
I
was like a
won't, I won't
wannabe. I
say.
was a wannabe Eminem. I was a big Eminem guy. I
Oh,
was like
for
a
real?
yeah, I was a
Yeah,
big Eminem guy, cleaning out my closet.
yeah.
I was
Me
also
too,
into T.I. Rubber Band Man. That's one of my
man.
favorite songs of all time. Rubber Band. It's almost so underrated.
Yeah,
Um, Wayne, of course. I mean, who isn't?
Wayne. Yeah,
Millie, a
yeah,
Millie, a Millie, a Millie. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know what
yeah.
I'm
He's one of the
saying?
goats. He's one of my top 10.
I know I already mentioned it, but I'm one of the few people. I feel like 50 Cent has a range. I feel like I'm in the high end. Like there's some people that call 50 the GOAT, and then there's some people that no, but then there's some people that like he's all right. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
Yeah,
he's one of those that has a high variance. Him,
yeah, yeah.
Ti is another high variance. You know what I mean by that, right? Like
Mhm.
some
Oh yeah,
people think he's average, some people think he's like God's gift to the world.
yep,
Ti
yep.
is another one.
I guess it depends on perspective.
And when you were
But
born and everything,
yeah,
Kendrick
but I
Lamar,
I
that's
do
another
put
one.
50 on the top spectrum. From even from a lyrical standpoint, because I believe he can formulate a song that anyone could relate to.
Yeah.
And not be, and I've heard his lyrical songs
Mhm.
from the early days, Power of a Dollar, 50 Cent is the Future, Guess Who's Back. I used to listen to those tapes. I'm telling you, man, I study hip hop, but
Many men,
um
many,
yeah,
many, many, many
even
men.
before that, his just ability to write
It's just
records
for me. Yeah.
and his variance of being, like you said, being able to just be fluid with the records. He doesn't necessarily have to be a Kendrick Lamar or Lupe Fiasco.
I know you've had quite the history with Bizzy Bone.
Yeah.
Can you name one, like, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned so far? Like, whether it be in the music game or outside of work, any lesson that you've learned from your partnership with him?
Yeah, really to just be mindful that when you are a part of something, things are not always about you. You know, um, it's okay to be in service for someone. You know, it's okay to show love. I know a lot of the hip hop music, rap music pushes the narrative of that you don't need anyone, and that it's okay to be alone, and it's okay to run by your lonesome, and you could be independent and not need people. And I'm here to tell you that that is completely false. Anyone who is successful has never done this alone. Uh, and what I've learned, my time with Busy, is that togetherness and unity is really what matters, and really what drives the force. And the check your ego, keep it at home. I mean, like I said, the picture is so big. Like, how could you make it about yourself? There's so
Mhm.
many moving parts to this, and what we're doing is so important because it's not only changing lives, but it's feeding families. You know, we're trying to build generational wealth. We're trying to do things different from corporate America, working, you know, the 9 to 5 trade. I've been in that my whole life, and I'm gonna tell you, man, there's nobody who gets what they deserve. You know, we're supposed to work 8 hours, but for somehow they get 10 or 11 or 12 out of
I'm
us.
yeah, I'm
And say,
preparing
oh,
to
you know,
yeah.
it's a part of your duty. And if you don't do it, that means you don't
Mm.
care.
Or do you want
Gosh
this,
darn it.
or they dangle the carrot of the bonus or the
Yeah, man.
raise or
Oh, there is.
I can be a history buff, so everyone knows about the pyramids back in the long time ago. You think those
Mm-hmm.
people weren't getting paid anything but food on their table, and sometimes they weren't even getting that. So I try to think of the um how far, like how lucky we are to have technology. I know I sound like the old man, but it's true. Like these people on like TikTok all the time and shit. Now even me, like it was funny. So before I'm a substitute teacher still,
Okay.
and that's a
Dope.
big that's a big thing. Yeah, I'm like your typical white substitute teacher, mid-30s white substitute teacher. Typical.
Dude, that was my first major in
No,
college.
but
Be an elementary teacher.
yeah. Oh,
That was my
dude.
major.
So I took the middle school exam. I missed it by one question.
Oh man.
I got like I needed I'm studying to be a middle school English teacher, and
Nice.
I got a 193. I needed a 200. Bro, I was so heated.
Oh man, I
I
bet.
was so
I
heated.
bet.
But anyways, back to my pyramid. Do you think those people, how many people it takes to build a pyramid? Man, we're talking about millions. So I
Yeah,
try to
man.
think of not just that example, but I try to think of the people that have a way. There's always someone. I know this is another cliche, but it's true. There's always someone that has it worse than you. You think you have
Yeah.
it bad? not saying you personally, but I'm just saying like as a general statement.
Right,
A
right.
person thinks they have it bad. I guarantee there's someone that has it worse.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I try to think of that. I got like AC right now. I got a roof over my head. I got a cat somewhere. I don't know where she's at, you
Oh
know.
man, that's dope. What do you like
So
best about cats?
I like the fact that they just like can live on their own. I can let her just sit here as long as she has water and food, she like grazes, you know.
Yeah.
My vet got pissed off at me because I got her fat. Well, you know,
Ah,
my
yeah.
vet was like, dude, you gotta stop letting her graze. I'm like, bro, I
Yeah.
live alone
No,
in
she
here. She can, it's her house, not mine. I live in an apartment,
that's
but it's like
cool.
it's her apartment, not mine. Like, yeah,
Yeah, man.
man.
I've had
I've been
cats
through the
for
relationship grind, bro. But
yeah, man.
speaking of relationships and friendships, man, I bet you've met so many cool people. I bet you've had to
Um,
meet some really cool people, man.
yeah,
Cause it's
yeah,
freaking Bizzy Bone. I mean, he's like one of the legends.
yeah, man.
Can you name a famous person that you were like, whoa, I can't believe besides Bizzy Bone, obviously. But can you met someone like through that connection that you're like, whoa, I can't believe I'm meeting them right now?
Not really, man.
Not really?
Yeah. Once I had that moment with Busy, that was it. It was like, okay, I can get used to this. Now I was starstruck when I met him.
Oh, of
Even
course.
even through email. I was just asking all kind of fanboy questions, and he was like, "Look, man, chill. You can learn all about me over time. Just chill out.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you how
You're making this
crazy
weird."
I'll tell you how crazy it is later, you know?
Yeah, yeah. But over time I got privy to, sit next to him and learn all the things, all the secrets of the industry,
Course.
things like that.
Yeah.
But no, man, I can't say that I've met anyone that just completely like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah, like holy shit. Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
respect that. I respect
They're
that,
just
man.
people, man. They're just people with a lot of talent.
Mhm. Um, who were some other influences like that you have? Like we talked briefly about some of the, goats. Who are some other artists that you have an eye on, like currently or,
Oh,
otherwise?
currently,
Yeah,
so
like kind of
there's
artists
there's
currently.
There's an artist by the name of Toby. Dude is dope. He's currently on tour now. He's signed by RCA Records.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
man, this guy
That's awesome.
he's blending like the most phenomenal music I've ever heard.
Hmm.
He's from Canada. I guess all good things come from Canada.
Hey, Canada, eh?
Shout out to Drake,
Oh, of
Justin Bieber,
course. Of
you know,
course.
and
Yeah,
Toby.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But there's more. There's more.
And hockey. Can't forget hockey.
Hockey, yeah, man. I haven't had a chance to go to a hockey game, but that's on
No,
the
but I'm
bucket
saying
list.
that's huge in Canada. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Toby is an artist. Blessed is a good artist. He's from Australia. Bloodline Harmony, which are the kids and nephews of Bizzy Bone. They're
Oh,
they're about yeah, man. They're
I didn't
about to
know
be the
about that.
next Bone
Well,
Thugs and Harmony.
talk about them real quick.
So there are five members. There's Bizzy Bone Jr., but his stage name is Little Busy. And there's another son of Busy named YBL Sinatra. There's a cousin named the Harmony God. His brother, I think he changed his name to Throw Bloodline. And then they have another cousin, Goldie, and he's currently in jail. So Lockdown loved the Goldie. I think he'll be home in 2026. But yeah, man, they are destined to be the next Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Keeping the tradition and the legacy alive. I like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, let's transition to the podcast. I know you and Swift, right? Don't you have a podcast?
Yeah, we have three podcasts. I have a solo podcast called Vigilantes Radio. I've been operating that one for 10 years now. Then we have a group podcast called the Pod Squad HQ, and that's
Mm-hmm.
where a bunch of us podcasters jump on one podcast to get opinions. It's like The View without all the estrogen,
I
there are
hear you.
some women there, yeah, on the show with us, but it's not all women. It's coming from different perspectives.
Hey,
Uh,
the empathy is coming from everybody, not just,
yeah, yeah. So that's the beautiful thing about that show, the Pod Squad HQ. It's every Thursday at 9 p.m. Central Time. Sorry for the shameless
No,
plugging.
dude, I am so lucky to have you on the podcast today, man.
Man.
I've been looking forward to
I'm the
this.
lucky one, man. I'm the
I've
lucky
been
one.
looking forward to this I've been teasing it for a couple weeks. So I've been looking forward to doing this. And I'm a huge fan of your music, and of course
Appreciate
Busy
it.
and Bone Thugs and Harmony are like goats. And I was just like, oh my god, I get this talk to somebody that has a connection to Busy. So oh man, the pleasure's mine. And the honor. So yeah, you're into video games? What kind of get
I
what
am. I
games?
am.
What kind of games? Because I see Swift's posting some sort of like first person, videos and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, Swift plays the same game over and over. Apex Legends, man, he sucked, man. Like all the games in the world, you choose to play Apex Legend over
What's
and
your
over.
game? What's your game?
Man, I play them all. Right now I'm playing Far Cry 6.
Okay. Yeah, I've been
Yeah,
out of
man, the
that
game.
game out with like the
Yeah,
Game
yeah,
Boy
yeah.
this, the Game Boy
Yeah,
that.
I had the Game Boy. I did get a Game Boy, but I didn't get a console until like the Nintendo 64 came out.
Hmm.
And I got the Fire version. That was my first console. Even after the Super Nintendo was out, after
Dang,
the
that's awesome.
NES was out, Atari, Sega, I never had
I
any
mean,
of that.
Atari, bro.
Only kind of games I had were
Uh,
like the Tiger handheld games and the Game Boy.
got into it. So talk about, how did you guys start this podcast? Whose idea was it? And what's it called?
Uh, it's called Vigilantes Radio. Is my original show.
Yeah.
Um, oh, before I get into that, the consoles I own today: Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Sega Genesis, Dreamcast, N64,
Hmm.
Nintendo, Super Nintendo, GameCube, N64, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, Xbox Original,
Hmm.
Xbox 360, Xbox One,
What?
yeah, and a Retron 5.
You
That's
just
for
got
all the
into.
years I've never had
You
a
just,
console.
yeah. You read my. You keep. You know what? It's like the fourth time you've read my mind on a question I'm going to ask. You're good at this. I can tell you've done a
Yeah,
podcast or two.
yeah, man.
Um.
So Vigilantes Radio. I started that show back in 2003. I was going through a divorce, and I just needed something to occupy my space because it was just me and the cat at that point. Thank God for my cat that she held it down for me. Just just being there. But I began this podcast like I can't talk to myself, so I brought a friend on, and we kind of didn't have chemistry, so I was like, scrap that. And then Busy was talking about doing a podcast or
Really?
doing a radio, yeah, or starting a radio program that only played our music so that we could benefit from the royalties, the royalties that pay from being
Right.
played.
On the material.
Yeah, I brokered a deal with Daily Radio at the time. We got that station, um, and I was like, yeah, man, I think I got a niche in radio. I used to write ads, for when I was a manager at the store, and it just transitioned into like, what if we could just do it all ourselves? And so we
Hmm.
got a bunch of musicians, and we were just talking about their careers, different things, and it was a fun show, but people didn't take it as serious as I did. I showed up every time, but they wouldn't show up all the time.
Again, man, that's that grind, bro.
That's that grind.
That's the theme of this interview, man. Is you got
Yeah,
the. I respect the hustle, man.
yeah. And I just didn't want to be on camera. Well, I just didn't want to be on air by myself because like,
Hmm.
who want to toss to himself? But
No,
so
I get that. That's why it's an interview show. So I
yeah.
understand. I understand.
So this one time we had a huge show. Like we promoted it and promoted it. And at the time we were on Blog Talk Radio. And none of my co-hosts showed up. It was just me. And because I had a
Damn.
crowd calling in. I had to do the show, and man, I was nervous.
Did they forget they were just ghosted you, or
Man, I don't know what happened.
we don't
I didn't
gotta talk? You
ask.
don't gotta. Yeah, you
I
don't
didn't
gotta go
ask
into it.
any questions. But it hurt me so bad, man, that I was like, I can't ever depend on a cast again. You know, I can't let them depict how a show is going to flow ever
Mm-hmm.
again. And out of that, Vigilantes Radio was born.
Right.
And I began to brainstorm like, okay, I don't want to talk to myself. I want to talk to somebody. How can I make this work? Oh, I just talk to other people who want to talk. So an interview show was born. And as it was growing, man, I switched from Blog Talk to Spreaker. And then I got a little side deal from iHeartRadio before they bought Spreaker. And
Wow.
and I was able to do like partnerships with PR companies, and they were supplying the guests.
Was it
And
that you that sorry, was it you that initiated the contact with iHeartRadio, or how did
no, because different things happened before that. So um with podcasting, there's a cost.
I mean
And
yeah.
for a long
I
time,
pay a decent amount. I use
yeah,
Podbean. I don't pay that much. I pay 100 something for this um membership, but yeah.
that's a lot for a membership when it comes to podcasting,
Mhm.
even in my opinion. But when you put all the things, all the tools that you need together to run a successful show, it adds up.
No, I'm saying
And
100 a year, not 100. You thought I meant 100 a
oh,
month?
100 a year. Oh, yeah, yeah. I thought you were talking 100 a
Oh,
month.
I ain't paying 100 a month. I had to
Yeah,
verify. You make me like this guy's paying
yeah,
100 a month. No, it's 100 a year. 108 a year, I think.
yeah. So now I pay like over 100 a month for all the tools that I use
Wow.
to run my episodes. Uh, but like for 3 years, it was just pain. I'm losing money. Like, why am I doing this? This hobby doesn't feel good anymore. I'm losing money. I love to talk, but my bank account is not
You
agreeing
don't
with
love
this
it. You don't love
with
it
this
that
thing
much.
I'm doing.
You
Yeah.
don't love it that much when you start seeing red in the
Yeah, yeah,
account.
yeah. It's like, yo, something has to give. So I had this think tank. It was like, I gotta come up with a way to make money. And at the time, I was in a band called No Longer the Hero, and we were
Oh, we
putting
could have
out.
talked about it. I didn't know that.
It's something I don't talk about a lot.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's a time for
We
that, but
can move on. That's fine.
man, there's so many chapters to this story, man. It's like my life was like an action movie, explosions, rescuing damsels in distress,
So like
out of
James Bond. Your movie
windows.
your life's
Yeah,
like James Bond.
yeah, man. Had some
Another
wild
goat. James
rides,
Bond's one of my favorites. Another goat. But
man.
anyways, yeah, continue this. This is interesting.
Yeah, even how I became Houdini is interesting. But so where was I?
We're talking about the iHeartRadio deal.
Yeah, yeah. So different things happen, like I said. And I began to just think about, well, no, No Longer the Hero. We dropped a project, and we began to pay for promotion and marketing, and a part of that was doing interviews. So this guy Jer from Canada, again, shout out to Canada.
Canada, hey,
He
yeah.
interviewed us in his magazine, Sleeping Bag Studio. I still remember that. And I was like, man, this is so cool how he's a, independent journalist, and providing a platform for us. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what if I did this, but audio? He's on Fiverr charging us $5 an interview.
Fiverr, man, you're bringing up classic names.
Yeah. And I was like, what if I do the same, but audio? And I did that. Started putting my podcast on Fiverr, $5 interviews, 30 minutes. No, at that time I was doing an hour. So it was like, wow, I could speak for an hour. Yeah. And I'll play your music. So, there's no sales coming in because I'm a new seller. But this one
Mm-hmm.
PR company, shout out to Melissa from City Bird PR out
Shout
of
out
New.
to Melissa from the Sensibly Cynical podcast.
Yeah, she gave
Whoever
the
you are,
kid,
whoever you are.
she gave the kid a chance
Yeah.
with no experience, booked an act
Wow.
on my show.
That's a lot of testicular fortitude.
Yeah. And I was just doing extensive research, just Googling and just writing questions. I wrote like 50 questions. So the interview was like an hour and 30 minutes. Too long. But anyway, this kid is eating it up. You know, he's a rapper and he's just eating it up. He's like, oh man, he's treating me like I'm a superstar. And he said that. He's like, dude, you're acting like I'm the GOAT. I was like, oh no, I just appreciate what you're doing. He's like, yeah, man, I appreciate you for saying that. And then I was like, yo, what if that's a part of the service? You know, it don't matter what level they are, find something to appreciate out of their art because they're giving it their all. They're putting their life on the line. And that became a part of my model, you know, treat people like they're a celebrity, even though they're not. Find something good about what they're doing and exploit that, talk about that. And Melissa was eating it up too. She was sending me artists back to back. From hip hop, it went to blues, from blues, country to rock, rock to classical. And then a sex worker from Fiverr was on there, like, would you interview me? I work in the sex industry. I was like, you know what? Come on, who am I to judge you? Let's talk.
Yeah.
Man, she had the most incredible story, and her story blew up my show because I took a chance on her, not judging her, and you know, she paid $5 for an interview. And numbers begin to pour in because of her. And then this rapper, big rapper out of Australia, he saw it. He's like, yo, can you interview me?
Man, shout out to
Yeah,
the
man.
Aussies out there.
Yeah, man. And that episode was like 21.8 thousand listeners. My
What?
biggest show. And I'm like, what? And I
Bro,
was
I
like,
haven't even had that much in my I'm just kidding.
that was one episode. And I was like, the price is going up. And the price did go up. But it was still on Fiverr. And I'm still on Fiverr today. Still making money on Fiverr
What's
with
your account?
Whodini-Blak.
Okay.
Yeah, you can find me right there. You can book me for a voiceover. I'm a voiceover actor. You can book me for an interview, review, anything dealing with media. You can book me there on Fiverr or my website. So it became a business, man, interviewing people. And I didn't go to school for journalism. Starting out, like my speech was, I mean, it's not the greatest now because I'm from Mississippi and I have a slight impediment, a lisp, if you will.
Yeah.
So I pronounce words a little different sometimes.
Oh man,
And
everyone's got something. You're good.
yeah, so no journalism, anything like that. It's just jumping in, starting, doing something, and figuring it out along the way. Today, man, I have over 115,000 monthly listeners. Um, and it's not something that I could have ever done by myself. Of course, glory to God, because I'm a shy person. I'm reserved in real life. I don't talk a lot. This is probably the most you'll ever get out of me. You know, when
What
it
I am
comes
doing
to
right
talking.
now is I am subscribing.
So I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I left you a review on Spotify too, man.
Oh man.
On your best of 2023 episodes. I
I
really enjoyed that. That was real
Yeah,
cool.
man. I have an eclectic. Is it Vigilantes Radio Live?
Yes, sir. Yep,
All
yep.
right, subscribed. I use Castbox, so if you have a random download from Castbox, that's what I use.
I love
I
Castbox.
So underrated. Like
Yeah,
I've been
man.
talking about underrated things a lot. Castbox.
Castbox.
I'll say it on record right now. Right now. Castbox is the most underrated podcatcher in the world.
Yes,
Would you
yes.
agree? I mean, there's
I
other
agree,
ones.
man.
Spreaker's probably up there too. Well, with iHeartRadio and stuff.
Just
iHeartRadio is
because
underrated.
I'm anchored on Spreaker, I have to say, well, I don't want to say I have to say, but they've been very good to me.
So
So
yes, it's Spreaker.
I get ad dots from Spreaker, so they've been very good to me.
So you get paid to say it was Spreaker. But no, but I know how it is. I know how the bread's buttered,
Yeah,
Demetrius
yeah, yeah,
Whodini.
yeah, man.
I know how
Um,
it is, man. You gotta cater to the audience. I understand.
man.
Bro, I've had so many different people on, some random, like I've had a couple models on.
Yeah,
You know,
I've listened to those
I
too.
had a stripper on back in the day.
Oh
You
wow.
know, you know. So when you started talking about the sex, she's actually fighting. She's actually a lawyer going to fight for the sex workers. Shout out to Christy Monroe.
Oh, wow. Shout out to Chrissy
So,
Monroe.
so she's actually going to be a lawyer to stand up for because she's firsthand experienced the
Mm,
exploitation and the, I assume, trafficking.
yeah,
Not saying she's been trafficked, but she's experienced. She's probably experienced. I don't want to speak for her, but you know what I mean. She knows the whole deal there.
That's what you do,
Um,
man. When you make it out of a situation and you're able to like better yourself, education, whether it's business or money, and you go back to help your people where you came from. I think that's what it's all
yeah,
about.
like she's to the point where she changed her popular account to this account I think it's Switch Cares, so if anyone can follow
Mm,
her. She's got an incredible story. That was my first big interview, like downloads wise.
nice,
And
nice.
I also interviewed someone from Survivor back in the day,
Oh
the TV,
wow,
I own reality
yeah,
TV show Survivor.
yeah.
And then actually I interviewed a couple people from Survivor, and then it branched on to music because I got with these agencies. That's how you probably seen me interview some other musicians. It's
Hmm.
because they get with I have a there's no finance exchange. It's I get an episode, they get PR for their client. You probably know how it works.
Yeah.
Dead
Let me
horse.
tell you though, Sean, that was cool for a time for me, but as much research I was doing, the graphics, then the post production, and then marketing, promoting the episode, I figured like, man, I need to see some type of compensation for all this time I'm helping you push your message. And PR's company besides Melissa
But
and
my
CEO PR,
podcast is small though.
it didn't
Like
matter. My podcast was small, but the time you
I see
can't
what
get
you're
that
saying. I
back.
see what you're saying.
And I had to break that down for this agency one time.
You
I'm like,
only live once. That's
yeah,
it.
that's what I told them, man.
And then it's
They were like,
over.
they thought because they were a big agency that it would be a privilege for me to interview their artists for free. And I was like, no, look, I'm putting energy, time, and effort
Maybe
into
I need to
this.
have your backbone.
I'm
Maybe I
like,
need to do
you
that.
do it, man.
Are you
I'll back
telling me
you up.
right now that I should email Dead Horse Branding and be like, "Hey,
Pay me
time
for these interviews.
pay me or death." I'm
No,
kidding.
it's just pay me or the
I know,
relationship
but
ends. There are companies who will pay because let me tell you, man, they're making all of this money from the artists. I know because I was an artist paying these companies to push me. So you're making all this money you can't share. I'm doing all of this work and you can't share. We don't need to be partners. That's the wrong kind of partnership for me. And it's only benefiting you and the artist. It's
yeah,
like, well,
but
you're getting the artist and the
yeah, that's what I'm
content.
saying. You're getting
It's
it free
not
up.
doing me any dude. It's not doing me any
Yeah.
favors because the artist isn't pushing it. I'm not gonna.
Now that's that I've had that happen a few times that most of my artists the people that I've had on the podcast, most of them have,
Yeah,
but I'll have a few that don't. So I get it. And you're giving me incentive and drive to do so. You back
man.
me up.
Look,
I'll be like, hey, I'll have Who Done It Black and Busy Bone on my side, you know?
yeah, yeah. I could get busy on your show too, man.
Oh,
I put it
I
this
would
way,
pay
man.
for that. I would pay for that. I
Yeah,
would pay for that.
the answer is always no, Sean. If you don't ask, and the shot is always going to be missed if you don't take it.
Mm.
What's the worst that can happen? The partnership end, man. There's 1,000 PR companies. There's so many artists, actors, directors, pharmaceuticals, tech geniuses, CEOs, millionaires who want to talk. And there's websites like I'm on another site, some podcast site where these people can book their sales on your show, pay you a fee.
Mhm. Yeah, there's Podcorn too. You've heard of Podcorn?
Nope, nope, nope. Can't say I have.
Podcorn, PODCORN is basically you you you're looking for advertisement space. So you'll prove that you have downloads and um and products will products will post themselves to get on a podcast ad. So it'll be like a pre-roll ad and it'll
Oh,
be random. It'll be random independent contractors will be on there. Sometimes
write that down.
podcasts will be on there, and you can get like a pre-roll ad or some of them even have guests. So basically, they start an account, and they're looking for podcasts to be on, to have their
Right.
ad on.
Yeah, man.
So
There are people paying to get on podcasts.
yeah, there is, and that's one of the
Fiverr.
websites you should. You and
Fiverr, man.
Podcorn's another good one. Try that. That one's
Yeah.
good.
My
I'll
basic interview cost $25 for
so
15 minutes of my
I
time.
feel really honored by this. I know I've said this multiple times, but this has been awesome, and I'm gonna promote the hell out of this interview. I like
Yes, sir. Likewise.
we already have,
Yeah.
and I just hit 4,000 followers on Instagram, which is a lot for me. I obviously
Congratulations.
you're only gonna go up, right? So obviously it's a
Yeah.
lot, but
Oh, you
yeah,
can go down, man, if you say the wrong things. I,
I mean,
I listened to an episode you did about how sensitive America is, and I think this is like on your old account.
wow, you
Uh,
went way back.
yeah, man.
Did I have the co-host with me, Frank?
You did this one solo, but it was like a 15-minute rant about how people are sensitive nowadays.
Do you remember the title? Wow, you
Sean, it's
oh,
like
Sean's dramatic
Sean.
rant or something.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you went way back. It's first. Wow, that was like 2018.
Yeah. It was a while back
Wow,
when
and
the
it's
when
true
the
though, right? It's true.
podcast cover was red. Yeah,
Red, yeah. Oh my God, dude,
sure. Yeah,
you did your research. Wow, I'm impressed. Yeah, that was facts, right? As the kids say, that was
facts,
fact.
facts, man. I don't know what America is becoming. Like it's like our flag should be white, so we can't offend anyone. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
it's the craziest
I
thing, bro.
think I think this is a good place to put advertisements. Whodini Black, where can people find you on social media, man?
Man, everything at Whodini-Blak in 3D. That's X, Facebook, YouTube. No, YouTube is Demetrius Reynolds. Instagram, Pod Squad everywhere. That's PODZQUAD. Vigilantes Radio everywhere. And if you want to find me on Xbox and get your butt kicked, in Dini Vision, you can find me there. Any game, send an invite, bring it on.
Are you a Twitch person?
I am.
I know people. I hear people can spend like countless hours on that app.
Yeah, not
Like,
me, man. I think
like
at
they'll
most I have
be
like 150 followers there.
like I
And
remember, like one of the classes I subbed for, like it was before the Christmas break, like they were on Twitch like in the middle of class. Like I did, yeah, they had their phone and like I told them to all put their phones away, and then they were just like he he was playing some sort of game on there. And
oh
I'm like,
wow, was he?
I'm there for like 50 minutes. Like it's not like the juice. What's it the whole saying? Like the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Like it
Yeah,
wasn't
man.
like it wasn't worth it wasn't worth fighting it.
Was he like
I
live
was just
streaming?
no no, he had like he had a mobile council in his backpack or something, you
Oh,
know.
like a backbone. You seen those?
Bone,
That's
it makes
crazy.
sense with Bizzy Bone. We are all full circle, full
Yeah,
circle,
man.
full circle.
Yeah,
Whodini Black, pleasure was mine, man. This is awesome.
man. The pleasure was mine too. I
And
appreciate you. It was a blessing to be on your podcast, man. I really appreciate. And I would like to extend an offer for you to come on my show, both podcasts, Pod Squad on Thursday nights and episode of Vigilantes Radio, so we can dive into your life.
are you being
Yeah,
serious?
yeah.
Do I gotta
Let's do
pay
it.
or something?
No, man. I give. I
You're
charge
gonna get
for
me emotional,
interviews,
man.
but
I need to. There's something in the air, man. It's like dust. It's like dust
yeah, man.
particles. I don't know what's going on, man. I
I
live
give
in
free
the,
interviews too.
I live in the country, man. It's the dust of the fan.
The dust in the fan.
I have one of these 70s style, you know what I mean, the one with the blades.
Yeah, man. I have those.
It's some of the
Hey,
dust.
but
Oh, dude, I'm in, man. I'm in.
yeah, cool. We'll
It'd be
set it up.
awesome. I'm your typical white dude that likes rap music and rock music. There's nothing really special to me. I'm pretty
Uh,
humble.
I like rock too, man. I was in
Son of
rock.
a nurse, and my dad worked for NASA, so I can talk about how this I can talk about the
Oh
space.
my
I can
goodness,
talk about the space program if that doesn't bore you.
man. I don't know, man. That may be a debate because I'm kind of
I lived 30 minutes from Kennedy Space Center, so I would hear,
really.
yeah, so I would hear it would make I thought it was cool for a little bit, and then like it bothered me every Saturday morning. It got tiring real quick.
Yeah, yeah. I used to go to the Stennis Space Center a lot. We have one here. I think it's here or it's in Florida. But we do have one here on the coast of Mississippi that I used to go to a lot in grade school. But right now, I kind of think the world is flat, with the dome over it.
You with
So,
that one? Who was the athlete? Kyrie Irving or who was it that said it's
uh,
flat?
yeah, I
And
think
people were
that
joking
guy,
with people were like, "What's this guy
Cal Irvin or
on?"
something.
Like,
Yeah, Bob
maybe
said the
maybe
same
he's right.
thing.
Maybe he's right. I mean,
Man,
I'm not gonna go Houdini. I'm not
the only
gonna go
thing I
that
would
far. I'm
say,
not gonna go that far, bro.
the
I'm
only
not
thing
gonna.
I would say, Sean, is that you know how I told you about the Masons and how they basically kidnapped us. So my life has
Mhm,
been tied in masonry for a long time. My great grandfather, oh no, my grandfather was a worshipful master. That's like the head in a temple, a Masonic temple. He
mhm,
was the top dude, so he knew some stuff. His funeral was weird, man. They had like all kind of symbolism. But
mhm,
anyway, um, the dude that signed us, my first record deal, he was a Mason.
mhm.
Uh,
Hey,
and
I don't want to cut you off, but we're like real low on time.
Okay, I'll make this
But
real quick, real quick,
okay,
real quick.
okay.
So,
I still wanted to
so
cut
I've
you
I
off.
seen this thing, and I don't want to get too deep because I'm not a Mason. I shouldn't be telling their secrets, but I've seen this thing, and it has the world looking flat. The UN use their symbol is a flat world too, and in the Bible it says that there's a dome over the Earth, and that the Earth is the only planet in the universe. So,
I think that's how
so
we
that's
should end.
that's that's where I'm at thinking, man, and I don't know.
One love, man.
One love.
Adios. Thank you so
Oh
much.
yeah, for sure.